going live on November 8th, 2025. I'm just doing these live because when I'm doing a long talkie video on the road, it doesn't make sense to waste a bunch of battery or memory. So here's to the morning show with Krazy Red. You missed the breakdown. I had my tent and all my gear set up. I had all my warm night clothes on. These are my day clothes. In fact, I'm putting on the final touches. And so that's what I wanted to talk about, to survive out here. Now, I'm in mid-Tennessee, south of Nashville, heading towards Muscle Shoals, Alabama, on Route 43. And it's getting up into the upper 60s, almost hitting 70, and then cooling down to about 54, which is actually really nice. Perfect, good riding weather. But you do need layers, and it's a damp cold, so it's not as intrusive right now. But, and this happens, we get these deep freezes, these cold fronts that come through here, and that's what we got coming in the next couple of days. Is 20-something degree weather heading our way, and I got this huge mountain to tackle before I can get out of. See, Tennessee Valley is kind of like where I'm at. But in order to get into Alabama, I got to go up a big fucking hill and come back down towards the river. And then the grade just gets easier after that, and a lot more downhill. You got to jump that hump. And so basically we're getting ready for war with the road. And I'll be taking all this off too. This is this early morning, drinking coffee. You should have seen me. I had poncho and everything on earlier, but man, it was so comfortable last night. In case you're worried, is Red okay out here? I'm fine, man. I'm actually in my element. I did get visited from 2 cops yesterday. Well, one was a constable. I don't know if that makes him a actual cop, or if that's just like he's like the local constable around here. But they were both nice to me and just wanted to know if I was okay. And they both said the same thing. Well, it doesn't look like you're doing anything wrong. So the fact that I'm not drinking or doing drugs, it goes a long way when dealing with the authorities. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is, people are going to complain about you either way. Some Karen walking her dog is going to see you and be like, there's a homeless guy over there. Oh, by the way, make sure you bring baby wipes. And just a little tip for Krazy Red. But they were cool. And, one of the reasons why I'm attracted to this particular park is because if I was really going to be homeless and stick around these parts, this would be the perfect spot to do it. There's a little river that if you just cross over here, there's plenty of flat land. And maybe if it was springtime, I'd be thinking about it, but it's November. We got another month, about 6 weeks before real winter gets here. And honestly, I don't know really where I'm going this time. I like, in the past, my Key West or bus trips have been, I got to get to Key West for Fantasy Fest. The first year I made it, I got there early and I actually had to order new rims because the rims were so shot. The second year I got there a little late, but I was there for Halloween. And then I ended up getting an apartment and staying in Key West for years after that. This is maybe the third run, and a couple big differences. One, Fantasy Fest is already over. Halloween is over. So I'm going a little bit later in the year, which has different challenges, colder weather, obviously. Mid-October, Indian summer, much easier riding as far as temperature is concerned. This ride, I actually have to think about temperature, um, which is why I'm going to tackle the hill. And some say, well, why do it? Why do that? Why, you know? And it's because if it's going to be 20 something degrees out, I can layer up and just walk the bike up the fucking hill, and I won't be cold. In fact, I'll probably be shedding layers of clothes. What's dangerous is going to sleep in wet clothes, even if you're in a sleeping bag in a tent, all that stuff, because as your body heat drops and it cools off at night, you can freeze to death. And that's what happens to a lot of homeless people that freeze to death in the winter. They wear a bunch of clothes all day long, they sweat in them when it gets hot, and then when it cools off, they get cold. And that's why I have a dry bag with really warm, good clothes in it. It's extra weight for sure, but that extra weight at night is keeping me alive. So that's good. Um, and yeah, at first I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to take this weight because it's a lot of weight. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost. I thought it'd be lighter. Oh, excuse me, pulling the trailer, but as opposed to the tricycle. But I think the difference is I can go further on the bike pedaling, because I have the gears, and I can start to. Now that I'm out here, like a 43, I'm able to do some of the grades for a little while. And the trike was. See, the big problem with the trike was I would hit I don't know what you call them. They're not speed bumps, but there's like grating on the side of the roads. So when the truck hits it, you hear that noise. You know, um, those are like divots in the road that are about an inch or two deep. And when the trike would hit them, the whole trike would be like, even if just one tire was hitting those ruts, the whole bike would go like this, and it put a lot of tweak in it, and it made riding really difficult. So I'd always try to find roads with a wide enough shoulder. I used to hate the country roads. With this setup, I can avoid that, and then sometimes the back tire does take the hit, but I don't feel it. You know what I mean? So the trailer is taking some beating, but it's holding up great. In fact, I'm using it right now to hold my camera on. But where was I going with all this? Um, oh yeah, bottom line is I think I have more weight now than I did on the trike because I'm riding a mountain bike with gears. I'm able to kind of let's just say it equals out. So I've got more weight, but I have this fucker been bothering me all morning. So we need to definitely shed some weight. I'm thinking about trading the tent, getting rid of the tent first. It's on my list. Also, I'm thinking about getting a Sub-Zero bag. Although last night I didn't even sleep in my sleeping bag. I slept on top of it. This is important when you're in this type of climate. Okay, things that you might actually learn. Get yourself a blow-up air mattress. I have one that keeps me about an inch or two off the ground. And yeah, I got to blow it up every night. It's a pain in the ass. It's a better one, so it's a little tougher. And get a tarp. Get yourself a good tarp. I prefer a 12 by 16 just because folded up, that's the right amount of layers that you need. And if I want to camp out under the hammock, that's the perfect size tarp to tarp over your hammock area. So 12 by 16. And don't do the blue tarps because they're very visible. Do the camouflaged ones. And yeah, I have a two-person tent now. I'm thinking about downgrading to a one-person, possibly Arctic rated tent and getting a Sub-Zero bag. But I want to get gear that's lighter, not heavier, so I got to basically stick with what I got for now. Because it's working, it's just kind of cumbersome, heavy. But you want to keep yourself you want to keep a tarp underneath you in your tent, keep you dry, keep the sharp little sticks from poking into your air mattress. Then you want the air mattress. You definitely want an air mattress, something to put you off the ground, even if it's just a little bit. And then the sleeping bag. And always make sure the sleeping bag is underneath you before you worry about getting in it. Because sometimes people will like get in the sleeping bag, but their back will be exposed. You want to be on top of the sleeping bag almost, layered up inside a dry tent. That's the way to do it. Or if it's the worst case scenario and you're in a hammock situation, but you don't have the right size tarp, get in your sleeping bag, preferably a mummy bag, and then wrap the tarp around you. That's right. And then get in your hammock, because that will keep your body heat tucked in and it'll keep you dry. Although you may sweat. It's still better than freezing your ass off. And that's about it, really. I got my jet boil. I got to get fuel. I'm doing my coffee. I got this Stanley thermos, by the way, which is great. And we're about ready to put an end to this coffee show. Only about 15 minutes. What's cool is I'm in a park that has plugs. So I'm probably going to put a little charge on my phone, make some oatmeal. And then we're getting on 43 as soon as this fog clears out. And it's supposed to be a beautiful day, but it's supposed to drop down into the 40s tonight. So we're shooting for the Lewisburg area. And instead of trying to go to Summertown or go up to the Natchez Trace, we're just going to stick on 43. Because once we get up the big hill, which is about, I think, 1,000 something feet up above sea level, it's a gradual downhill. And with this bike and the gears, I'm thinking I should be able to make it to Muscle Shoals pretty quick. And we're going to Muscle Shoals because Leonard Skinner wrote about it. We're going there because we've never been there. We're going there just to check it out. We do have money set aside that if we have to bust out a cheap hotel room for a night or two during this cold snap, we can do it. But anybody out there wants to help Red out, check out my... so there's plenty of Krazy Reds out there with K's. So I'm going with my Christian name, Ryan Hugh North. But if you want to check me out on Spotify, the streams help create revenue. So just listening to my music on Spotify helps. Or if you want to check out Kid, which is the new distributing company that I read up on, that's I'm pretty sure based out of Nashville. And they did a commercial out there by the bridge, over by the Loveless Cafe. And I recognize that bridge because that's the beginning of the Natchez Trace, which I've already been on that. Just so we all are clear on that too. I'm not avoiding anything I haven't done already. I already know what the Natchez looks like, all the way to the Devil's Backbone. So the whole thing is to try to get past the Devil's Backbone, down towards Muscle Shoals, and then gradually make our way towards the Natchez Trace. And as it gets more gradual and flatter, I'll lean more towards that way, because we may go to New Orleans just to check out some things, and that's another place. Like this journey is like, well, I don't need to get to Fantasy Fest on time. That shit's done. And if we do the Key Wester bus thing, it's gonna be just so we can take a Shaka, take a picture over at the monument. Maybe say hi to a few people, see if there's any Wahinis that want to, get down with old Red, and then probably head back towards Sarasota, Siesta Key, where I went on the first Key Wester bus trip. And that's the thing. The first Key Wester bus trip bike made it back to Nashville, and I rode that thing all over fucking Florida. I went to Key West, went to Fantasy Fest, rode all over Florida, all the way up back towards Clearwater, and then I rode all the way back down to Key West. Got picked up in some COVID, picking up all the homeless people thing. Got let out on the street with the COVID, and rode that bike literally like 80 miles from Nashville, where it finally broke down, and somebody brought it to me later. Anyway, just people. Somebody asked me, "What's the bike in the backyard about in Nashville?" I'm like, "That's the Ghost Rider 1." And I'm actually riding the mountain bike that was given to me by Shauna. Hi, Shauna, if you're watching, and Bill. By the way, don't take everything too personal. But anyway, so the original idea was to take this bike. So it's just funny because now we're taking this bike, pulling the trailer, and here we are. And I'm telling you, this is it's going to be a beautiful, gorgeous day. Our goal is to actually get to the Walmart, about 26 miles down the road. We got to get up that hill. And when we get to that Walmart, I'm thinking about trading out some gear, getting a real mud bag for the cold temperatures, and maybe getting a smaller one-man person tent. Unfortunately, Red does not have any wahinis to keep him warm right now, but if there's any out there on the road or want to join me on the road, and there's this money button here. I don't know how it works though. So don't send me any money on YouTube if you're watching and you want to help out Old Red, because Old Red would rather make money off his music. And we do have a guitar, so we may find some busking areas. But right now we're funded by the government with disability, SSDI, so that's helping out. And we got our combat boots on. We're ready. We're ready. And I wore these boots on the other treks, and they saved my ass from getting my leg chewed off a couple times from dogs. But I think we're going to wear them up the hill, because I'd rather have the weight on my feet than on my back, if that makes any sense to you. Anyway, I need to get moving here. And, oh yeah, it's been lovely talking to you. Krazy Red, somewhere in America, November 8th, 2025. William Springs Park in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee.